1. The Golden Era, 1982 to 1993. The Golden Era of WWE, then the WWF, began when Vince McMahon purchased the company from his father in 1982. This wasn't just a change in leadership, it was a revolution. Vince had one vision, to take wrestling from smoky regional halls and turn it into a glitzy, global phenomenon. At the center of this plan was Hulk Hogan, the ultimate larger-than-life hero. With Hogan's charisma, physique, and mainstream appeal, he became the face of not just WWF, but of wrestling itself. He told kids to eat their vitamins, say their prayers, and believe in themselves. And millions did. This era brought the birth of WrestleMania, a gamble in 1985 that paid off in spades. Vince brought in Mr. T, Cyndi Lauper, and Muhammad Ali, blending rock, pop, and sports into one spectacle. It worked. WrestleMania I was a success, and by WrestleMania 3, Hogan was body-slamming Andre the Giant in front of 93,000 fans. Icons like Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, and Roddy Piper thrived. It was the age of catchphrases, entrance themes, and Saturday morning cartoons. Wrestling had become sports entertainment, and business was booming. The New Generation Era, 1993 to 1997. By the early 90s, the magic of the Golden Era was fading. Scandals, including a highly publicized steroid trial, tarnished the WWF's image. Key stars like Hogan left for WCW. The audience shifted. And so, a new era was born. This was the New Generation, where wrestling focused more on athletic ability and younger stars. Out were the muscle-bound superheroes, and were technically brilliant performers like Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels. WWF launched Monday Night Raw in 1993, offering live, weekly programming that brought fans closer to the action. But creatively, the product struggled with over-the-top characters like Doink the Clown and Mantor, a far cry from the realism fans wanted. Still, gems emerged. Bret and Shawn delivered classics. Razor Ramon and Diesel added edge. But more than anything, the New Generation Era was a transitional phase, paving the way for something edgier, grittier, and more culturally relevant. The Attitude Era, 1997-2002. The Attitude Era, arguably the most iconic period in wrestling history. WWF was in trouble. WCW's Monday Nitro was dominating in the ratings. So Vince McMahon flipped the script. Wrestling became raunchier, bolder, and more chaotic. The line between reality and fiction blurred. Stone Cold Steve Austin was the anti-hero the fans craved. Flipping off his boss, chugging beers, and delivering stunners to anyone in his way, he embodied rebellion. Meanwhile, The Rock became a superstar with unmatched charisma. His catchphrases transcended wrestling. DX broke every rule. The Undertaker reinvented himself. And Mick Foley, whether as Mankind, Dude Love, or Cactus Jack, gave fans unforgettable moments. Storylines became edgy. Chairs, blood, bra, and panties matches. And surprise returns were weekly staples. Ratings skyrocketed. WWF won the Monday Night War. And Vince McMahon, now a full-fledged villain, was at the heart of it all. By 2001, WCW was dead, ECW was bought, and WWF reigned supreme. But the chaos couldn't last forever. The Ruthless Aggression Era, 2002 to 2008. After the Attitude Era cooled down, WWE, now renamed due to a lawsuit from the World Wildlife Fund, entered a phase it called Ruthless Aggression. With The Rock in Hollywood and Austin retiring, the company desperately needed new stars. That need birthed a wave of talent. John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, and Batista, all of whom would go on to define a generation. Cena debuted in 2002 with a slap to Kurt Angle and the phrase, Ruthless Aggression. He later evolved into the Dr. Thugonomics, connected with fans through freestyle raps and brash charisma. Brock Lesnar became a monster almost overnight, winning the WWE title just months into his debut. SmackDown became a wrestling haven. The SmackDown Six, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Edge, Chavo Guerrero, and Chris Benoit delivered incredible matches week after week. Women's wrestling saw a slight revival. Tag teams shined, and mid-card feuds often stole the show. It was a competitive, hungry era, one built on proving you belong. And it set the table for the next evolution, the PG era, 2008 to 2013. In 2008, WWE went PG. No more blood, no more profanity, and a much more family-friendly product. This move was all about corporate expansion, appealing to sponsors, attracting younger audiences, and launching initiatives like Be a Star and Make-A-Wish partnerships. John Cena was the centerpiece, the perfect PG-era champion. Kids love him. Adults were split, but his work ethic was undeniable. Yet, fans hungry for more mature content began to criticize the product. Despite that, this era wasn't without highlights. CM Punk's 2011 pipe bomb broke the fourth wall and ignited the internet wrestling community. The rise of The Miz as a main event heel and Daniel Bryan's underdog journey planted seeds that would bloom in the years ahead. Still, the PG era was clean, controlled, and often criticized for playing it too safe, even as WWE raked in profits. The reality era, 2013 to 2016. With social media booming and fan reactions becoming impossible to ignore, WWE entered the reality era. This wasn't a formal shift, but it was real. In every sense, CM Punk's pipe bomb echoed into this era, with fans fully aware of backstage politics, contract disputes, and creative frustrations. The Authority storyline, with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon running the show, mirrored real-life power dynamics. Fans rejected the corporate push of Roman Reigns, and instead rallied behind Daniel Bryan. WrestleMania XXX proved fan power mattered. Bryan, despite being constantly overlooked, main event and won. A victory earned as much by fans as by him. This era was about insider knowledge, meta storylines, and acknowledging the fans' influence. But creative inconsistencies and over-reliance on part-timers left it feeling unstable at times. The new era, 2016 to 2020. Post-2016, WWE began promoting its product as entering a new era, and in many ways it was. The main roster saw an influx of talent from NXT. Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and more. These weren't oversized bodybuilders. They were indie stars, technicians, and workhorses. The women's revolution took center stage. Gone were the days of 3-minute matches. Instead, women main event pay-per-views had Hell in a Cell matches, and finally main event WrestleMania in 2019 with Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte. Tag team wrestling improved. Mid-card belts mattered again. Yet, creative direction was inconsistent. Overproduced promos, 50-50 booking, and awkward storytelling sometimes drowned the talent's potential. Still, the new era gave us incredible matches, and finally felt like a bridge between old-school wrestling and modern entertainment. The pandemic/Thunderdome era, 2020 to 2021. In 2020, everything changed. With the COVID-19 pandemic, WWE shut down live crowds. Wrestlers performed in empty arenas. Fan reactions, so crucial to wrestling, were gone. Yet, WWE adapted. They created the Thunderdome, a virtual set where fans appeared via screens. Matches were pre-taped, enhanced with effects, and often cinematic. Think the Boneyard match with Undertaker and AJ Styles, part movie, part wrestling match. Wrestlers like Drew McIntyre carried the show with no live reaction. Bayley and Sasha Banks elevated the women's division. Roman Reigns returned as a heel and dominated. The pandemic era tested WWE's creativity and resilience. It wasn't perfect, but it was innovative in ways the company had never been forced to be before. The Triple H era/modern era, 2022 present. In 2022, Vince McMahon temporarily stepped down. For the first time in decades, someone else was at the creative helm, Triple H. Under his leadership, storytelling tightened. Released superstars returned. Matches got more time. NXT call-ups were given real chances. Long-term booking, once thought lost, returned. At the center of it all was Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. This wasn't just a stable, it was a dynasty. The family drama, the betrayals, and the slow burn captivated audiences. Sami Zayn's arc within the group was some of the best character work in modern wrestling. Cody Rhodes returned to WWE in a shocking moment at WrestleMania 38, vowing to finish the story his father started. WrestleMania 39, then 40, became stages for generational storytelling. With WWE merging with UFC under TKO Group, the company is now in a new financial era as well. But creatively, under Triple H, many say WWE hasn't been this good in decades. WWE isn't just a wrestling company. It's a living timeline of culture, conflict, and characters. Every era brought something new. And while the ring stays the same, the stories, the stars, and the stakes evolve. Which era is your favorite? Drop a comment, smash that like button, and subscribe for more.